Next week's card is insane.
Talking about next week, right? Let's transition into that. Um, you and I talking about the women's division. We are going to see more out of the women's division next week. We're going to see Abaddon in action, who has been tormenting Sheeta. So I'm interested to see how Abaddon and Sheeta interact later on next week. Beyond that, you're going to see Orange Cassidy and MJF as a follow-up from tonight's Battle Royal. You're going to see them determine the winner of the ring. Is MJF going to be able to defend that ring and keep it? We didn't talk much about that possibility. We almost assumed that OC would win it. That would be an interesting one. So what's going to happen next week? How's that going to play into the Inner Circle's future? MJF certainly is a key cog to the Inner Circle. So we're going to see the Inner Circle ultimatum. Chris Jericho is going to lay it all on the line. The team's either going to agree we're in this together as a team or we're breaking up. Cannot wait to see what happens out of that, no matter what. Like we talked about earlier in the show, SPD, every time Jericho's on, he always seems to over-deliver our expectations. That's going to be must-see. The Young Bucks versus TH2, we finally get to see Dirtbag Jack Evans go head-to-head with Matt Jackson. You get to see Angelico going up against Nick. Yeah. It's going to be a great matchup. We like I said earlier, I think this is going to be one of the more underrated matches of the week that could surprise next week. The styles of
could
those
steal the show for sure.
Teams, the styles of those two teams going together is going to be so fun to watch. Can't wait for that one. You got Dustin Rhodes going against 10, which that's a surprising match. I didn't see that one coming.
I know. That was very surprising. Like I thought Dustin Rhodes maybe would possibly feud with someone in Team Taz, but it's interesting booking for sure. But I'm happy to see Dustin Rhodes back on TV again after the bunkhouse brawl. He's always fun to watch in the ring, and we're always huge fans of him, and always props to him.
Yeah, and what I like too is we're getting a chance to see 10 on television again.
Yeah.
10, that dude is jacked. That dude is killing it. You see 10, and you see what he is doing with the five and dime tag team with Alan Angels. Those two guys are secretly putting on some really good matches. We saw them kind of get it going viral with some of that tandem offense that they had in their matchup against the Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy.
That was a great main event last night at Dark, and
great
the Dark
match.
Order has sneakily has 3 great tag teams in the Dark Order.
They do. So, Dark Order is legit, man. I mean, if anybody's sleeping on the Dark Order, you're right. Reynolds and John Silver, Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, and the Five and Dime. That is 3 really sneaky good tag teams. So
is that their name, or are you giving that name?
I think that's what Alan Angels calls them.
Okay, I like it. I like it.
So I like it a lot. I think that's a cool tag name. But Dustin Rhodes, anytime he's in a match, you and I always feel like that's a treat. We don't get to see him on television nearly enough, but every time we do, it's always going to be a great match. I'm going to be tuning in because FTR is going to be back on television, baby. We're going to be going up against Brian Pillman Jr. and Griff Garrison.
I know.
Varsity Blondes getting a chance to go head-to-head with FTR. That's going to be a really fun match, man. I can't wait to see that one. Really, really excited about that. That's going to be secretly one of my favorite matches all week. I'm going to be pumping that one. And then Abaddon's going to go in action. We don't know who she's going up against, but we know that it's going to be terrifying and
something to be
nightmares
scared
after you see it. And then in the main event, I'm reading this for the first time. Lance Archer and the Lucha Brothers are going to go against Eddie Kingston, the Butcher, and the Blade.
Did you miss that? Did you miss that announcement?
Oh my God! No, I missed that. Wow. Oh my gosh!
It is true, and honestly, quite surprising.
Better.
It's very surprising, but very Lance Archer, like we've been interacting with him on Twitter, being the lone wolf and not joining any groups. It's interesting that he's joining with the Lucha Brothers, but this is going to be an outstanding match, and it just
dude, I am going to be so geeked.
But where does Pac fit into this? Like where do you go with that? This better be the main event, and it's going to be outstanding. A lot of talent in a ring at one time, and like I said last week, growing a new core. This is exactly what you're doing. The 7 guys, the 6 that are going to be performing next week, plus Pac. That's the new core that you're going to be growing towards the main event scene, and that's outstanding. And it just makes for great TV.
I used this phrase earlier and I think it's very fitting because the Murder Hawk, I know he's a man of faith, but iron sharpens iron, and I think that you just keep talking about this core, these 7 going up against each other. Iron sharpening iron. Every time we see these guys in a match, and no matter what the pairing, no matter what the segment is about, whether it's a tag match, whether it's a one-on-one match with Pac versus Blade, whether it's a promo segment, they make each other better. They're pushing each other because they're all really good.
Yes.
Like the Butcher and the Blade and the Lucha Brothers are both legitimately some of our favorite tag teams here on Dynamite.
Yeah.
Now. I mean, they're both incredible teams, and so you know that they're going to be pushing each other in the ring. You know that they're going to be pushing their teammate to bring it so that they can hold their own and show out. And we talked about it this week on Instagram. We were sharing this. This was getting some love from you guys. The more we see them, the more fitting their name becomes, because the Butcher, when you talk about power, I love when he manhandles people, especially when he goes for that wheelbarrow suplex, when he holds up them by the gut and lets Blade come in and do the drop kick. Their tandem offense is awesome.
Yes.
The technique that Blade brings, that we're diehard fans of the Murder Hawk Monster. All these guys being paired up the way they are, as a fan, SPD, I
can't wait.
I don't know what I'm most excited about in AEW, and that's what's so great, right? I mean, like, I'm geeked about Omega winning the championship, and I can't wait to see where that goes. Moxley getting piped out of that loss in the way that show ended tonight was incredible. The tag division has always been something that I love.
Mm-hmm.
You and I are just talking about how excited we are about the women's division. It's just like there's so much that we're excited about, and it's so nice to be a fan and to be happy and to have things to look forward to every week.
I know.
It's just so great,